Listen carefully, because this moment decides whether your future becomes peaceful or painfully expensive. When someone suddenly says, "I'm ready now," the question isn't what they want, it's why they want it now. Dark psychology teaches us one brutal rule: urgency is rarely love. It's usually pressure. Here's the tension most men feel but can't explain. For years you were invisible. Now suddenly you're exactly what she's been looking for. Same you, same life, same energy. So what actually changed? This isn't about shaming. It's about pattern recognition. Because attraction born from desire feels calm. Attraction born from fear feels rushed. And when fear enters relationships, it doesn't knock. It demands. Here's the first trigger most men underestimate, and it operates silently. It's not emotions. It's biology under pressure. Around the mid-30s, something psychological snaps into focus. Time stops feeling abundant and starts feeling scarce. Dark psychology calls this deadline-driven attraction. Notice the shift. Suddenly, conversations accelerate. Timelines appear out of nowhere. Where is this going? I don't want to waste time. I'm dating intentionally now. That intensity feels flattering, but intensity doesn't equal desire. Pressure creates urgency, not connection. Here's the uncomfortable truth. When attraction is fueled by a closing window, the man becomes a solution, not a choice. And when someone chooses you as a solution, resentment quietly moves in with you. Because every compromise she makes to secure the future becomes a silent grievance later. Now pay close attention, because this is where the illusion breaks. Attraction doesn't evolve equally for everyone. It recalculates. In dark psychology, this is called a marketplace correction. What once felt unlimited quietly shrinks. The men who created excitement before, they disappear. Not because she changed, but because they had options. So something subtle happens. Her standards don't rise. They rearrange. Traits that never sparked desire suddenly become important. Stability replaces excitement. Predictability replaces passion. Not as preference, but as necessity. Here's the danger for you. If you were invisible before and valuable now, ask yourself why. Did your value suddenly spike, or did her leverage drop? Because attraction born from leverage loss doesn't inspire admiration. It inspires comparison. And comparison is the seed of dissatisfaction. Here's where things turn invisible and dangerous. Comparison doesn't shout, it whispers. Dark psychology calls this phantom benchmarking. Her mind doesn't compare you to reality. It compares you to idealized memories, moments, feelings, versions of men that never actually existed the way she remembers them. So intimacy changes, not dramatically, quietly. Affection feels scheduled, not spontaneous. Desire feels conditional, not instinctive. She's present, but not immersed, because part of her is always measuring, always scanning, always wondering if something better once existed or still could. And here's the cruel part. You can do everything right and still feel like you're failing a test you never signed up for. This is where the damage becomes behavioral. When someone spends years exiting relationships instead of repairing them, the brain learns a shortcut. Leave, replace, repeat. Dark psychology labels this escape conditioning. So when conflict appears, not betrayal, not abuse, just normal friction, her nervous system doesn't move toward resolution. It moves toward escape. Small disagreements feel unbearable. Boundaries feel like control. Accountability feels like criticism. And instead of working through tension, she threatens distance, silence, withdrawal, or the nuclear option. Maybe this isn't working, not because it isn't, but because leaving feels safer than confronting discomfort. Here's the trap for men. You start over-functioning, appeasing, walking on emotional glass, and slowly, without realizing it, you train yourself to tolerate instability in exchange for peace. This is where illusion replaces reality. Dark psychology calls this adaptive mirroring. It's when someone becomes what you want, just long enough to secure commitment. Suddenly she's into cooking, into peace, into traditional values, into being supportive and soft. But here's the tell. It appeared after urgency appeared. Values don't switch overnight. Performances do. Watch behavior, not words. Does her lifestyle reflect these values when no one is watching? Do her friendships reinforce them or contradict them? Does her past align with her present or clash with it? Because performances are exhausting, and once security is locked in, exhaustion turns into resentment. That's when the warmth cools, the effort fades, and the man realizes he married a phase, not a person. Here's the alarm bell that never lies. Defensiveness. In dark psychology, avoidance signals identity threat. When someone reacts emotionally to reasonable questions, it's not about privacy. It's about fear of exposure. A calm past produces calm answers. A hidden past produces friction. Notice the tactics. Questions become accusations. Curiosity becomes insecurity. Transparency becomes control. Why? Because her past isn't just history. It contradicts the role she's playing now. So she reframes your discernment as a flaw. If she can make you doubt yourself, she doesn't have to reveal anything. And men fall for this. They back off. They suppress instincts. They tell themselves the past doesn't matter. But here's the dark truth. The past doesn't disappear. It predicts. Now pay attention. This is where reality hits hard. You're not getting the woman she once was. You're getting a curated version. A version optimized to secure commitment. Dark psychology calls this residual value transfer. The excitement, flexibility, and spontaneity she gave before, it's already been spent. What you receive now is duty intimacy, negotiated affection, rigid expectations, and a long list of no's that previous partners never encountered. Meanwhile, the law of contrast works against you. Every memory she has of past thrills silently undermines present satisfaction. Every comparison chips away at gratitude, admiration, and desire. Men fall into the trap of thinking, she's finally mature. She's serious, she wants me. But seriousness born of necessity doesn't equal love born of choice. And necessity carries a quiet resentment that grows over time. Here's the hidden context few will tell you. Culture sold a story. Your 20s are for freedom. Your 30s are for self-discovery. You can have it all at any age. Sounds empowering, right? Until reality hits. Dark psychology reveals the truth. This narrative wasn't neutral. It reshaped decisions, and not always in women's favor. Peak fertility, peak attraction, and optimal pair bonding occur in early 20s. Delay and repeated short-term. Relationships shift opportunity costs into crisis territory by mid-30s. Those warnings were muted, minimized, or framed as irrelevant. Now at 35 plus, the I'm ready now phase emerges. It's not enlightenment, it's panic. It's an urgent solution to a problem created decades earlier. And desperation doesn't make for healthy partnerships. It makes for urgent compromises. And compromises carry emotional consequences that can last a lifetime. This is the final and most crucial part, your reality check. Genuine change versus panic-driven repositioning. It's all in the details. Ask yourself, did her priorities shift naturally over time while options were still abundant? Does she take full accountability for her past choices without blaming men, luck, or society? Is her behavior consistent, both when she thinks you're watching and when she's alone? Can she handle normal relationship timelines without pressure, ultimatums, or manufactured crises? Does she treat you with authentic respect, admiration, and desire, or do comparisons creep in? If the answer to most of these is no, you're not being chosen, you're being settled for. Dark psychology isn't about fear, it's about awareness. It's about seeing patterns, understanding motives, and making informed decisions before you invest your life, money, and emotions. Remember, love doesn't conquer biology, psychology, or history. You deserve a partner who chooses you because of who you are, not because they ran out of options. So watch, observe, and act with clarity. Don't commit to someone's strategy. Commit only to authentic desire. If this resonates, comment, recognize the pattern, or avoided the trap. And subscribe, because understanding these dynamics today saves decades of pain tomorrow.